they're headed the right way, but they just don't really know what to do. Those are my people. Like, I like to, like, if your credit sucks, no big deal. Let's find a way to fix it. Let me show you the tips, because, you know, I had really, really bad credit when I was younger. So I try to just take all the experiences that I've had in my life and things that have helped me the most and help that same type of person.
I love that.
I think it's that, you know, it's that Ed Milet quote of you're best positioned to serve the person that you once were.
Braden Hatch is a small-town guy with a passion for helping people achieve homeownership. Braden holds an associate's degree from Northland Pioneer College and continues to learn and grow through various resources. Braden's true calling in the world of financial services is mortgage solutions. He specializes in down payment assistance and helping individuals with credit challenges. For 9 years, Braden has guided over 1,000 families and individuals to achieve their dream home ownership. Watch and learn more from him here in this another awesome episode of Real Estate versus Technology.
So this segment, I would love to get a little deeper into, okay, real estate professional, you know, if you're watching, you want to get into real estate, mortgage professional, want to get into mortgage. What was your first steps, practical action steps someone can take to build a team?
One of the things that I think has held me back and that I would have done different is asking for help earlier. I've always tried to run things on my own because I don't know if it's a generational thing or if it's just whatever. I don't like to ask for help. And so I've tried to figure a lot of stuff out on my own. And I really would have been able to get a lot further had I just humbled myself and asked for help from people that know how to do it.
Amen.
Like, just know what you're good at. Be very self-aware.
Yeah. I'm just saying, keep it real.
No, keep it real. And it's like because there are other people that are just going to be better at certain things than you. Like, straight up, that's just how life works. It's not fair. It is what it is. But what you can do is you can reach out to those individuals. And if they're a good person, you'd be surprised how many people are willing to help you.
Yeah.
So, you know, with starting a team, just, find someone who's doing what you want to do and ask them.
Who was that for you?
Well, so this is the problem. I didn't actually do any of this. I have done it all myself.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if there was someone down the line that maybe you did.
No, you know, there's been a lot of, I mean, there's not like one specific person. There's been a lot of people along the way.
Okay.
It's been, you know, it's been just the consistent networking. Like I've met, you know, it's different people in different times of my life.
Got it.
Like I can't remember who said it was. It was a conference that I went to. Scott Groves, actually. He has a mortgage podcast. So
okay.
Shout out to Scott Groves.
Let's go.
But he said in life, you should always have someone that you're learning from. So you're the mentee, and then also someone that you're mentoring.
Yes.
So you always need to have that balance, right? Someone that you're learning from, and then someone that you're teaching to. And same thing, the person you're teaching to is basically the old version of you. So we're all kind of leveling up, and that's really what it's all about. And so that was really cool for me. So, you know, I've had different mentors and different things along the way. And it's just, I don't know that there always needs to be one specific person for me. I like to, because I change so much. So like, I try to just learn from different people at different times. So I've got, like Bryce is a mentor of mine right now. Like,
love it.
And he's younger than me. You know, we've got some great guys in our mortgage office that I work with. I've got some family members that are huge mentors to me. So it's just,
I love that.
You know, there's always new people. So just, you know, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, talk to others, and
I love that.
ask for help when you need it.
I'm right there with you, and getting started on my side too. I was very much the same. I don't know. It's a little bit of ego. It's a little bit, I can do it my own. You know, I had a mentor for about 2 years. I would go to the gym and talk to this person, talk to that person, and we worked together. But it was just, I didn't like the vibe and where he was taking me, what he wanted to do, and I thought it was kind of being used a little bit. So I'm like, no, I'm not committed to that. I'm like, I'm good. So let's go into a little bit of like the funnels, the automation processes, some of that stuff. So what have you used to help you automate the process of someone submitting an application, getting more information? Are they watching videos? Like, what are they doing?
And so here's what's really fun, because I don't really know how most of it works.
Oh.
I know that it does work, but again, this was a realization that I got early on when I first started getting into video over 5 years ago.
Okay.
I tried to edit my own one. As a video editor over here, he knows how difficult that is, especially with zero technical background in any of that type of stuff. Like, I watched a few YouTube videos and tried to figure it out on my own. I bought some software, you know, it was supposed to be user-friendly, and it was a nightmare, dude.
Oh, shit.
It took like 6 hours. It was garbage. I couldn't get the audio right. I couldn't get the format of the size it right. Like, It was a nightmare. So
Been there.
that was when I made that first, like, okay, I can't spend 6 hours to make one shitty video, especially if I'm going to be doing 2 to 3 videos a day. Like that, the math just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I had a buddy who was starting to dabble into video editing, and like he still had a job, but he was kind of doing it on the side. And so I hit him up and I was like, hey man, do you think like, could we start, editing some videos for me? Like, what would you charge me for that? Like, 'cause,
Yeah.
we're just getting into it. And so he's like, yeah, I could probably do that. And so we met, and long story short, he's now he was able to quit his job and become a full-time videographer years
go.
later. He's got his own business now, Half Soul Media. Shout out to Eric Stahl.
That's sick, dude. Eric, congratulations, brother. That's huge. That's huge.
And so he's crushing it now. And so so I had that same idea with the automation. Like I was seeing, like, I've always been watching social media and different trends and kind of figuring out like
Yeah.
where things happen. And that was also part of it when with the video, the whole idea was, okay, if I can make 100 phone calls a day, but if I can make one video that reaches 1,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
that's a much better use of my time. And that's something that can be constantly working in the background while I'm still grinding and making those phone calls. Like people get into the thing of the either or, like I'm going to do videos or I'm going to do calls. The trick is you have to do both. You have to have a massive presence online and grind your ass off day to day with real people.
Yes.
You have to do a combination of the two.
Yes.
And that was I learned that one from a mentor, Alec Hansen.
Okay.
He's big in the mortgage space. And I was like, it's so simple. Like I'd always I was either doing one or the
Sick.
other. I was never doing both at once.
Yes.
And when I started doing both at once is when everything took off.
It's interesting. There's a book called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and if you have an option, it's option 1 or option 2. It's both. And we taught my wife, my wife, but more or less my daughter. She does it all the time. We're like, hey Jordan, do you want this or do you want that? She's like, I want both. I want the cheese stick and the apple. Okay,
why not? Right.
And I love what you're saying in regards to the social media is great, and I always refer to like leverage your past efforts for your future successes. Levi Lassig, shout out Levi, living in Dallas, Texas, passive prospecting. They really coined the name passive prospecting from the perspective that you can passively prospect based off of filming content from the past, and people can look at that. So like I just met an agent before we're getting on the show, and she's up in Canada, and it was nice because, like you said, people buy from someone that you know, like, and trust, right? And so the social media platforms are great, especially if you're transparent. And like, I love to post anything that's going to be significant, like the Ford event that we went to. We went to the Philippines last year because my team's primarily in the Philippines. We're going back in October. I bought one of my dream cars, Nissan GTR. So all those different things are on the on the Instagram. So I'm meeting her, going through the process, and then I'm going into Instagram and I'm going through the process and I'm showing her what some of those key points in my life were. Now we're relating, and then then she's like, well, I don't have time, I gotta pick up the kids, I gotta do this. I said, exactly, this is where your stories come into play. So I show her the stories, and then I get to show her a little bit of my house because I filmed Jacob before before I met her. I was filming Jacob in the room, and because we were getting things ready, get this new mixer, all the things, and that's on this office because we're growing right now, live. So the live section of our podcast, even though it's 300 episodes later, 387, majority of them, 99% of them, are just on StreamYard or on Zoom, right? And so now we're expanding our video team at Liftoff, and now we're expanding this situation, the setup, everything here, and Liftoff has more funds to be able to reinvest,
right?
And it solidified it for her. She was just like, oh wow. And then other conversations came up, and this and that, and then we got to the yellow brick road at the end. She was like, oh, my birthday is coming up in 3 days, and this is going to be a birthday present for myself. And I'm like, oh my God, the fact that I could do what I love, I could serve, I could support, I can help someone, and then they're looking at like this is a birthday present for themselves, like getting a website with this comprehensive map and the whole night. I'm just like, yes, like that's when like you're doing something you love, and it just felt so good. So anyone's listening, viewing out there, that's how you leverage social media stories, showing what you're doing, highlights for the front end, for your profile side of things. And then like you said,
embrace your weirdness, man. That's all I can say. Embrace your weirdness, because we're all weird, but for whatever reason, we're afraid to show it because we're afraid of what other people are going to think. But the second you stop caring is when it takes off, because people just find you, man. Like people
100%.
appreciate it. Like I get phone calls every single day from because again, there's a lot of shitty loan officers out there, unfortunately, especially for the types of clients that I help. And so one of the most common conversations is, hey, I called this loan officer, they took an application, and then I never heard back. I'm like, it's probably because your credit score sucks and they don't want to deal with you. let's do it and I'll help you.
Yes.
And it's a much better conversation because now we've taken someone from social and they called me because I'm making those videos. I'm letting them know like this is something that's happening.
Yep.
So call me. Let's be real about it.
Yep.
And then it's because then they feel like I don't ever have to sell anything. Like I don't ever get people that shop me on race or whatever because they've already done the research online. They already know
Yes.
who I am. They're ready
Yes.
to go. And so it's just a very different conversation. I'm just like they've already made up their mind that they want to get a loan. I'm just trying to help find the best way to make that happen. And
Yes.
so it's just it's completely different. Like it's no longer making those calls and convincing someone that they should refinance or that I have the best rates or here's why you should work with me. I don't have to do that
No.
anymore because my reputation's out there. They know the type of people that I help. And the other cool thing is now I have those people that I have helped. They're singing my praises, telling their family members, their coworkers, their friends, and I'm meeting with them and doing it all. Like that's how you take. Like if you do it right after your first year in business, you should be able to triple it consistently if you're doing it right.
I love that, man. 100% love that. And I saw some of the videos on your Instagram and you're kind of highlighting like, oh, Peoria or Scottsdale and kind of giving
Mhm.
commentary on that. So is your approach more so Instagram or are you also dabbling into YouTube videos in that approach too?
Yeah, so I do have a YouTube channel, Hatchman Loans. Check it out. Everything's
Attachment
branded
loans.
under Hatchman Loans. So
Let's go. It's super
yep,
simple.
Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. TikTok's actually getting really big right now.
Nice.
But yeah, YouTube, I've never really cracked the YouTube code, right? Like
It's interesting.
I'm growing consistently. Like, it's nothing crazy. I've had my YouTube channel for 3 years. I have just under 700 followers. But we're consistent with it. So I put out a new long form episode every week, and those ones are definitely more informative, like very deep with strategies. Like
Okay.
I try to give my real knowledge there, but I hate to use the word dumb it down, but I like to make it to where the everyday person can understand it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because again, this is something that I study day in, day out. It's all very technical. It's boring. It's numbers.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
And so I try to make it simple to where it's like, look, let me show you how this can actually better your life. Like here's what it'll do for you.
Mhm.
And again, it's still growing, but Instagram has the most followers wise. Like I think
Okay.
I have like 24,000 followers on Instagram.
Congrats.
Because I had that one video that went absolutely viral. And it's up to like 1.8 million views right now. It's just
Ooh, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
And it was just a simple one, man. It was just here's how you buy a house for less than $2,300 out of pocket. Like that was the whole video. Quick little iPad, me showing it, and that was it.
See, and sometimes those are the ones that hit. You don't need to make it super complicated.
Yeah. But from that, what was really interesting is it caused us to really look at everything that we're doing, right? Like a lot of things had to lead up to that one viral video, but things in between is like it's all that knowledge piece. Like we're sharing again the who I am. It's letting
Yeah.
my real personality show, and then you give those little nuggets. Like okay, let me show you how this will help make you money, or this is how you buy a house with very little out of pocket.
Mm.
Here's how you fix your credit. And what's interesting is it kind of varies per week, month, where the leads come from.
Yeah.
So right now, my biggest lead source is TikTok. Like
Yeah.
minimum 3 to 4 appointments a day are being booked through TikTok right now. Like,
Congrats, dude. Let's
it's
go.
crushing it. But that platform has the least amount of followers of any platform that I have.
Interesting.
And so that's why it gets kind of funny. And I like reading the Gary Vee books and things like he's like, you can't get too caught up on those vanity metrics.
Yeah.
The followers. He's like, you care about views, saves, shares. And ultimately, I don't care about any of that because I want them to call me and get a loan with me. I
Correct.
could care less how many followers I have. I want people to call. And that's what's working right now. Like we are consistently getting business day in, day out, and it just works.
That's
So
awesome.
I had an idea of what I wanted to happen again because I'm not a tech guy. I didn't know how to do it. So
Yeah.
circling back to the tech, I reached out to my videographer because I knew he was also doing video work for a tech entrepreneur guy.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to meet your friend. Like, hook me up. I want to
Yeah.
talk to him. And so he's like, done. Like, I was like, bring him to the bar. I'm going to make him a cocktail. Like, we're just going to talk. And so we brought him over. We actually did a podcast
Let's go.
where the audio completely crapped out. None of it was usable. So so we had to redo the podcast. But long story short, I ended up hiring that guy. Like what he said, I said, here's what I want to happen. I don't know how it works, but this is what I want. Like when I have a video, like whatever clicks, it needs to go here. This needs to do this. Then they need this font. Like I had this whole thing built out for how I wanted it to work because it's what I do. Like
Yeah.
I know what steps I take when I'm reaching out to clients, or if I call someone and they don't answer and I need to follow up. Like there's very specific things that I'm doing. I just
Yeah.
need a computer to do all that for me. And I
Yeah.
can create the content and do all that stuff in the background, but just make it do this. And he's like, done. That was literally what he said. He said, done. He's like, let's get on a call this week. I'll tell you how much it'll cost and we'll go. And I was like, okay. And at the end of the day, I don't even care what the price is because
Yeah.
I know that's something that's going to help. So,
Yes.
and because he's a friend of a friend, he tells me his price. I just pay it. Like I try to not to complicate that type of stuff.
If you're questioning price, then it's just like either A, you don't have the money, or B, you're just on defense because you know something that he doesn't. I mean, he's the expert, right?
Or you don't totally believe it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only time you don't pay for something if you don't believe in it.
That's true.
But like,
100%.
Again, I trusted him. I've seen what he'd done. Like I've seen my videographer do his videos. Like I know this guy's not, messing around. Like he's really been successful with this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like if he knows how to do it, that's who I want.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just very simple.
I love that. I love that. One thing we always on the sponsor side, lift off agent shout out. We love to always tell the agents and things about like this. Okay, if you aren't going to repeat yourself over and over and over again on the buy side, the sell side, and even for mortgage professionals as well. How do you come up with a standard operating procedure so you can look at those key performance indicators of where the income producing activities are from the perspective of, okay, they saw your TikTok video. Great. Now they're going to go over to your website. Great. Now what's going to happen? You're going to plant a Facebook pixel and you potentially could retarget. And not only that, get their contact information with them doing absolutely nothing. Then they can go to that page. They could see your video. Okay, we're going to walk you through the process. Here's your video you're going to watch. Here's the form that you're going to fill out. Here's the guide that you're going to download. And then here's your meeting opportunity. Set up your meeting. So that way your team and staff can already have the intake form. Everything's filled out. You know where they're at. You know their numbers and everything. And then you can go in being more educated, which I could shave off 30 minutes of the conversation because you already have all the key performance indicators of what you need to get them across the line quicker or already have options.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because like if it really is just kind of that whole zoom out, right? Like we get so focused on doing what we're doing and I truly believe that there's a lot of really good real estate agents and really good loan officers and business individuals.
Yes.
But they refuse to give up control.
Yes.
And that's not letting them grow.
Yes.
To be able to help more people if you can document exactly how you want your process to work. And then lean into the tools that we have, the technology, the AI, the data capture. Data capture is absolutely everything. The more data we can get, the more we can help people and the more we can automate that process.
Yes.
Again, it was so simple to me, but because I had no idea how to do it, that's why you gotta hire people.
Why is there a nurse and then a doctor?
Exactly.
The nurse gets the information for the doctor, so the doctor can go in and have more of a well-rounded educational understanding as far as where the patient is, and they can actually subscribe and go through the process faster because they're worth more than the nurse. Well, hello, your past efforts is going to be able to help you for your future successes because your current time on the phone, sending a text message and emailing, what are you worth? $250 an hour? You're going to spend how much time?
Right.
To build it once and let that shit roll.
What's interesting is it really makes you, once you start to make really good money, you really start to realize that your time is worth way more than money will ever be worth.
Amen.
Time is worth way more. And
amen to that, bro.
so once you figure that out, now it's just what is the best use of my time and what can I pay for that will put more time back in my day and make me more money. And it's surprising that there's a lot of things out there that will help you do that if you're just willing to kind of look at the overall process, work on the business. And like you said, take the doctor approach. It's funny that you mentioned that because that was the very first analogy that one of my very first branch managers gave me advice on.
Really?
He's like, think about when you go to the doctor. He's like, how much time do you actually spend with the doctor himself? You're there for an hour and a half and the doctor gets like 5 or 10 minutes of those. And that's the only thing you remember.
Yeah.
He's like, that's what you need to be as the loan officer. There's going to be someone that schedules your appointments. There's going to be someone that takes the application, someone that does all the heavy lifting, and you're just advising as the expert. So you come in as the expert and you're the only one that they remember.
Yeah.
And and that's kind of how it works. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
I love that. I love that. And let's just be real. If you get a lead that comes through, okay, and you don't have a standard operating procedure utilizing technology, and you take that phone conversation and they didn't fill out a damn thing, you're wasting your time.
You wasted everyone's time.
Yeah. Because if they can't follow that procedure, what other procedure are they going to follow?
Right.
And people have to go through how many conversations with individuals that are just like tire kickers, or they just want to meet you because you're a cool person, or I saw you on social media, and like they are curious, but they're like 10 years out because they live with their parents in their basement and they're so need to just get a job and all the things, which is fine.
Right.
But you only have so much time to talk with someone that you can actually serve, support, and help in this present opportunity, where then it's just like, hey, download this guide. Here's my channel, here's my social media, here's my website, I'll put you on our email newsletter. I'll give you some great tips and suggestions and ideas. And if you watch these series of videos, then you can be set up for success to be able to purchase a home, and then we can have a conversation. Not that I don't love you. It's just that this is what I put together to serve you so you can get further along, so then we can actually get you across the sign table.
No, and that's it. You have to get crystal clear on who it is that you help and the type of person that you're looking to help, because then what's weird about that is you really end up getting to pick the type of person you want to work with. Like
Yes.
I've told people no, like, you know what, this isn't going to be a good fit. I don't think we should work together.
Yes.
And they get kind of weirded out when you do that. They're like, whoa, why not? Like now they're like, well, I want to work with you. Like, they get weird about it.
Want what they can't have.
Right? Like it's a weird kind of thing, but when you start to get that picky and you start to really define who your perfect client is,
Yeah.
you really can pick who you want to work with. Because in the beginning, I was just working with everyone, right? Like when you're brand new, you're just trying to make money, you're trying to do whatever it takes, and you run yourself ragged. And now that I'm very particular on the type of person that I want, I have more time in my day, I make a lot more money, and I get to work with people that I actually enjoy working with.
Yes, 100%. And if you want to have success, just note to self, anyone listening, want to get on YouTube, want to have more success with like moving to, a specific area. And then
Those
you're
channels
like
do very well.
They do very well. And you're going to be the brand ambassador of that specific area. Those are the ideal people we want to work with. And that's who it was. And hence why it went great. Hence why she's signing up and all the things. And it just makes it so much more simple. And then, Jacob's like, oh, where'd that come from? I'm like, I have no idea. One of the hundreds of the sites that we've already built out there. And
Right.
sure enough, she came from one of our referral partners and it worked out great. And then it was easy peasy. And that's why I feel like anyone who's viewing and listening, everything should be ease and flow.
Yes.
If you have to try too hard at anything, you're on defensive.
Right.
And it should just be a easy, simple, like passive thing that you're on offense and not so much on defense, worrying about paying your bills and your next commission check and, having commission breath and all those things.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because people can sniff that out real fast, man. Like
my God.
We always know as mortgage lenders, the real estate agents that haven't had a check in a while, we can tell because is it closed yet? Are we good? Is this? I'm like, just let the process happen. We were giving you updates several times a week. It's going to be okay.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I think it makes a big difference too, being seasoned, being in the industry for a long time, 10 years myself in, and you can easily be able to see the difference. And the biggest thing is, and I think it's transferable for any, like for your side or for my side, is that, sometimes you just have to really navigate some egos and you have to just tread lightly, even though you know the answer, this and that, and you can tell them directly what they need to hear. Not everyone's coachable. Not everyone wants to hear exactly what they need to hear. They got to hear what they want to hear to then hear what they need to hear, so then you could serve them. No,
big time. I'm really bad at following up with like clients that said they'll think about it because I just move on to another client who's ready to go now.
Yes.
there's always somebody else ready to go.
Yes.
And so to me, it's just always been easier to find newer clients than try to help those that haven't made up their mind yet. Like to me, that's not my job. I'm not here to help you decide if you need to buy a house or not. I'm here to help those that have already decided they want to become a homeowner and they don't know how to make it happen. Those are the people that I help.
Yeah.
I think if you can just get clear on that message, again, it's easy. You just weed out all the, like you said, the tire kickers and those that aren't really ready to do business with you yet.
Yeah, 100%. So as we get closer to the end of the show, I would love to go deep into what's next.
Yeah.
What's next for your business? The individuals that watch the show, they connect with you online. Let's get them behind your mission, your story, where you're headed, what you're doing, and what does your future look like? Let's say here in the next 5 years, so people could tune in and they can watch your journey and they can get inspired and they can get in the business themselves. And they can join your team and all the things.
Well, I'm really glad you mentioned it because I do have a very big vision, and it's what drives me to do what I do every single day. So I am on a mission to just help, the younger generation, first time homebuyers understand how to create wealth.
Okay.
I didn't come from, I don't like to say that I come from a poor background. We didn't have very much money, but I have amazing parents, amazing family. Like I've always been surrounded by very supportive individuals.
That's awesome.
And I'm from a small town where everybody supports everybody. And so I love that. I think if more of us had just kind of that small town feel where we just help everybody out, like the world would just be a better place. So in, being in the world of finance for as long as I have, I've got to meet some very wealthy individuals. I've got to learn how they make their money, how they use money, and how all of it works. And I've been able to take some of those lessons to better my own life with money.
Let's go.
And Money is not one of those things that is going to make you happy, but it certainly makes a lot of things easier when you don't rely on it, or if you're, working a job that you hate or something like that.
Agreed.
So for me, that's really the difference is I get to do what I love day in, day out, and I get paid for it now. And if I can help others that
Blessing.
were in a same situation as mine also make more money and better their financial situation, that's what it's all about. So I've got this concept with Bryce. It's called More Than a Mortgage. And so not only do we want to help people, get their house, I think that becoming a homeowner or your very first house is step one into a much bigger conversation.
Yeah.
Now, because once you become a homeowner, that opens up the number one thing, which is what makes millionaires, and that is leverage. You can start to leverage the equity in that house. You can leverage all kinds of different opportunities. And going into that, there's also ways you can protect it. You can get insurance. There's ways to borrow money that is not yours to buy things that make money. Like there's just all of these different tools that I feel like the everyday, small town guy like me, we don't know about this stuff. And I've been blessed to learn about it along the way. And so now I want to share that with everyone else so that they can do the same thing.
Legacy, bro.
Legacies, right?
100%. And I feel like the narrative of renting and that a lot of people aren't educating other individuals. And I think a big thing is I was watching this video, and there's this guy out there, and can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's just beautiful videos of just serving people. Whether he's given an iPad, given a car, or
Mr. Thank You. Is it that guy?
Is it Mr. Thank You?
No.
I mean, it's gonna drive me crazy now. I'm gonna just go on my Instagram for 2 seconds to see if it just pops up.
Right.
But this gentleman, he's just so inspirational from the perspective of how he's giving and serving and supporting and showing up. And what I'm getting at with the narrative is that it was interesting. He had an iPad, and he goes in the mall and he's trying to give out this iPad. He's like, "Hey, would you buy this iPad for $1?"
Yeah.
No. The little boy with his dad. "Hey, do you want this iPad for $1?" Oh, he doesn't have $1. And he went to like 5 different people, finally found someone who was there just working for the day, taking out trash to get some money because it's his daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
So he ended up trading the hat for the iPad, and then the story goes on, and we'll have to link it down below so you guys can check this guy out. And he's just raised like $5.5 million. He's gave away cars, he's gave away iPads, he's helped people with cancer, and just he does like GoFundMe. So he goes viral, does GoFundMe, and then just his audience funds him, and then he gives them money back. And the point that I'm getting to, and I also wanted to give him a little bit of shine a light on him, is that so many people said no, because people don't understand that. Okay, you're gonna give me like $1,000 iPad for $1. There's leverage there.
Right.
You could sell the iPad and make the difference, but no one really thinks about it like that. You know what I'm saying? So I commend you for...
Or they think it's too good to be true.
Or too good to be true, or a scam, or there's something coming up, or whatever else. So I commend you for helping our youth to be able to understand that, there's opportunities out there. There's house hacking, there's leveraging the equity. In our current house, our goal is to have our house be 100% self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And so we Airbnb one room upstairs. We have one roommate. We have a travel trailer on the side of the house, and we're doing our ADU over here. We'll make $6,000 worth of cash flow living in this house, getting paid to live here.
This is the stuff I teach about. Everything that you're doing, like you're just a homeowner, but
that's it.
Rent a room on Airbnb, rent stuff out. There are so many different ways to make money when you get into home ownership. So, dude, thank you for saying that. I'm gonna need that clip, by the way. So we're gonna need to post that.
Yeah, we got you. Don't you worry. You can even rent out your pool, bro.
Oh, I know.
Rent out your pool. Like, this is crazy, dude.
I've been trying to convince my wife for that. And then the what's the one where you rent out the cars too?
Oh, Toro.
Yeah,
I'm on Toro. My freaking mother-in-law, she's in Malaysia. And I used to rent the cars on Toro, and I stopped. And she's like, I'm back to Malaysia. I don't want this car just sitting. It's like a 2024, 2023 Honda CRV or HRV or whatever the new one is. And so $1,100 a month. She's like, I'll split it 50-50.
Right.
I was like, okay.
And you can literally, what's cool about that, like for auto loans, like you don't even need to go into this whole like mortgage financing deep dive. Like pretty much anyone can get an auto loan if you have halfway decent credit. Yeah. And then it's a really easy calculation. Like, for Turo specifically, like if you get a Tesla and it's $1,000 a month, but you rent it for $2,000, that's $1,000 a month profit. Why wouldn't you just do that over and over and over?
And you get one, and then if you can get a second one, and even if you have one, and then you just get a beater, and then you have 2 Teslas that are one you can drive and one you can rent. There's so many different opportunities.
There's so many different ways to make money, and it's just but so many people either one are afraid, or they don't believe it, or they're not willing to try it.
Yes, 100%. I think the biggest
to complain.
Yeah, the biggest issue I think is how we've been indoctrinated in thinking we need to trade our time for this income, and that's not how it works. And it's taken me personally too, I'm going on 38 now, time to figure out how do I reinvert, like reverse engineer, there you go, this whole process of doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And like we do a lot of traveling. So I'm like, well, we can get someone that can rent out a room. She can take care of our cat. She can watch over the house. You know, we're at 2.75 at 1,700 for this house a month, 1,780. She's at $900.
Boom.
And then as a business owner, you can write up to 4,000 a year off without getting flagged. That's $333.
Boom.
So right there, you're almost at $1,300 a month. What's left? 500 and some change. Dude, we just rented out the freaking travel trailer for 1 week for that.
There you go.
And we need two weeks, so it pays for the bill. So that's free travel trailer, plus it pays for this house. Just a travel trailer. Don't even need entering the house besides our roommate who's been with us for already 3 years.
Right.
We made $2,700 off one room.
I believe it. Yeah.
One room last March.
That was the idea that got me into homeownership to begin with. I was 23 years old when I bought my first house. And
Congrats.
it was because I was renting a room for $500 in some dude's house like this.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, wait a minute. If I'm renting for 500 and there's 2 other bedrooms, that's 1,500. Like, why am I not doing that for myself?
Yes. You know, and that's one thing that I think that, you know, people out there, you got to get out of your own way. And I say this with a grain of salt, and I say this coming from love. And I'm going to give you a quick story. And I'm saying this just because I think this is a good learning experience and a good just story to tell. This is happening right now. Okay. Once you leave, you'll see it. There's a house for sale in the corner.
Yeah, I saw it. Owner agent.
Ashley, owner agent.
Ashley.
Okay. She's our agent for our flips. We do flips for mobile homes, 55 plus mobile homes. And we use my wife's retirement to do that.
Nice.
So we have our second one on the market this month, and we'll buy 2 more this month. And we have investors. And that's for a whole other story. But long story short, she's our agent.
Okay.
And apparently, and he's mortgage. And so it's Joe Nash.
Nice.
And apparently, so she went off on her own. She used to be salary. Now she's on her own, and he was getting a salary, but then apparently, you know, was put some pressure under his ass. Now you're salary. You're not salary anymore. You're fucking commission too.
Oh yeah.
And so apparently they've been struggling. I had no idea they're struggling, right? And so they approached us at the gym because I met Joe from the gym, and we had the same cars. And I was like, I think this is our neighbor. And then we hit it off, and we've had parties here and the whole nine. And they're great people. The 2 dogs, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna sell our home. And it'll give us, you know, the cash that we could take out. It'll give us 2 to 3 years, and we can, you know, rent this place, and then, you know, it can help us for a little time and this and that. I'm just like, well, you have a 3-bedroom house. I said, why don't you rent out 2 of the rooms?
Right. Yeah. And just rent those out.
Yeah, rent those out. And they're like, oh, well, you know, that's actually not going to be enough, and this and that. I want to pay off. I'm like, well, and this is for, you know, everyone out there. If you're not used to having $200,000 or $300,000, and if you've already they've did a cash out refi to pay off debt, and now they're in debt again. Okay. And so if that's what's happening as a habit, if you're not used to having that money and you have that lump sum of money and you are already in the habit of being in debt, boom, you're back in debt again.
Absolutely.
And if you're not willing to challenge yourself and rent out a room and do what it takes to have the number one fucking asset that you can leverage to be able to do so much more with, then you're going the wrong direction. That's just my personal opinion.
That just made so much sense logically, right? Like, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And again, we get into this thing that debt is a bad thing, right? Like, again, there is bad debt.
Of course.
If you're using credit cards to, you know, pay for Starbucks and, you
Chains
know,
and
and like stuff you don't need.
Yeah.
That's different, right? That's money you're throwing away. But if there's debt that helps make you money, like rental properties, or what we just talked about with Turo, like that's something the everyday individual can do.
Yes.
Why are you not doing it?
Yes. 100%. So, you know, I don't know. I hope that helps this one person out there. It's stuff that's real life happening.
Right.
Dude, this has been phenomenal. And I love to leave our episodes with a golden nugget, something you want to give to our viewers and listeners that you feel that really had impact in your life that you can give to them today that they can use to have more massive success in their career, life, you know, whatever comes up for you, man.
You know, it's going to sound really cheesy, and we got a lot of this from the Forward event, but it's something that really has helped me in my life because I've always struggled with it, and it's just allowing yourself the success that you deserve because you feel that you're worth it. I think we all struggle with it as much as we deny it, that we all get inside our own heads, and there's something stopping us from reaching a certain level of success or happiness or whatever it is that it is. But if you'll just allow yourself and know that you are capable of literally anything that you want in life, you can have it. Plain and simple.
Let's go, man. We freaking had the man, the myth, the legend. Give this man a follow. Not Hatchet, Hatch Man Loans.
on the shoes.
Check him out. He has custom shoes on right now.
I was thinking about tattooing it on my knuckles. Should I do that?
You should tattoo it on your knuckles.
man.
You have to look at that. Follow him to see if he does that.
All right.
I think that's good. Putting bookends on this episode, and you were one of the few that actually took the opportunity and said, "Fuck yeah, I'll be on your podcast.
Yeah,
Let's vibe out."
I would have done it right then and there, but I didn't have a headshot on my phone to upload, so I had to wait till I got back to the hotel. But I booked it the second you texted it to me.
And you got it done, dude. You know, and that was our goal. Jacob and I said, all right, we're gonna interview, get those. We're gonna do a fucking blog at the same time. We're gonna get a bunch of selfies and tag. We're gonna get as many podcast guests as we can, and just see what happens, and just vibe out and just show up, dude.
You just have to take action. That's the other last gold nugget. Just take action. Because, if you don't, you're guaranteed to be in the exact same spot where you currently are. But if you try something, you might get some out of it.
Boom. All right. Well, with that being said, like, subscribe. New episodes every single week on Sunday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Big thank you to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring the show. And it is our intention for you to take things from episode, apply to your business, have more massive success. Jake's probably talking about my fucking legs right now. And we'll see you all on the next one.